Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. We're never tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Champ and a Tramp in the cat room. Roger's trying to call it Champ and a Tramp. I mean, I don't know. He likes his cats.
I think podcast room and man cave are overused. So
cat room.
Cat, C-A-T-T would be our initials for Champ and the Tramp.
So. All right, so
couple, ready? I'm going to hit him with it. Couple dogs in the cat room.
There you go. Well, hey, our guest today is the man, Marlon Moraes, the magic man, Marlon Moraes. Me and Marlon started training back in 2012. He was a big part of my camps and then those fights, and great teammate, great friend. We became really close over those years, and he's number one bantamweight in the world right now. Right? I mean, really, you're number one, ranked number one. You just came off a win over Jose Aldo, and so that's welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the cat room.
Never seen him fight. He is a bad motherfucker. He's a striker, stand-up guy, and just don't let the unassuming, quiet voice fool you. He will kill you.
I'm a little shy on the mic.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll get used to it.
It's okay.
I'll be okay.
Yeah, Marlon's one of the most explosive people I've ever trained with, and
explosive.
He really helped my game throughout the years. So. Yeah, and how's it going? You're back in Jersey for a little bit, handling some business. Yeah. So we had to snatch you up and get you in the room.
Yeah, it was good. Always good to be here, be near you, be near your family and all the friends that we built up all these years. And man, I feel good. I feel home. And you said, "Oh, you're gonna be here. Let's come to the podcast. Let's talk." And the pleasure to be here with you. With the Tramp.
So your fight. Let's just talk about your most recent fight. I know there's a little controversy going on with that. I was actually in Korea getting ready for my fight, and of course me, Ryan, and Chris were watching, screaming at the TV. And I had you winning. Obviously, of course, I could be biased because you're my dude, but I thought you landed the more significant punches. He may have been pressing forward, but he was pressing forward and feinting. He really wasn't. When he feinted, you hit him most of the time. So I thought, that you should have got the nod. I thought you definitely won the first round, especially with that nice throw, nice little lat drop in the end of the first round, and then the third round I thought you solidified it. But he's sitting there yapping a little bit, talking, saying he doesn't think you have it. And I know you guys are super respectful, beforehand.
Not anymore.
I know, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. How that kind of, you must have been taken back by that, because you and him have a history. You guys trained in the past, and it was always respectful. And then and you said even in the cage he kind of was respectful, and then he goes home and flips his tune.
Yeah, let's talk first about the fight. And I've been with you guys forever, like 8 years of my life, and the first thing I learned from you guys, I'm always honest, whatever. If you lose, I'm going to tell Frankie, man, right. I think you lost, I think he learned this, he learned that, being around Mark, and we all know how it is. And after the fight, everybody saying, oh, you won. But I was like, man, I don't know if I won, I want to watch this again and see what's up. I had a feeling that I won the first round, but the second I knew I lost. And the third one I was a little confused. But I want to watch. And see what I think. And I think the same, he was moving forward, but I land better shots and more shots than he did. And like you said, the significant shots I did. And so that was nothing to complain about. And right after the fight, he acts like he always does that, he acts like he's a good guy. He likes he help his friends out, but he doesn't, and that was proof. And for me, I think that was something that should happen to me. I truly need to, hey man, look who is this guy, he is the Brazilian guy. He carried the flag. He was a champion, but he's not that, he's not a good guy that he acts like he is. But I didn't know him. We, like you said, we have a history, but we just train, like we share rooms.
Weren't too personal.
And I never had a talk with him like I had with everyone else back up here in New Jersey, you know. And he never like stop and talk about anything else besides fight. I was there for like a year and a half, like going to Rio. Probably Rio is like an hour and a half, 2 hours from my home. And I was like always in a hurry going there, in a hurry leaving. Mm-hmm. So we were never friends. But he was the champion, the Brazilian guy, you know. Like, I have to be respectful. He actually like such a humble guy. So why not treat him like with the respect that we deserve, you know? Right. That's what I did. All the way up to the fight, I respect the guy. Frankie fought him in the past. I helped Frankie. I trained with Frankie. I want Frankie to kick his ass. It didn't went the way we want, but I still have the respect. Not he fought my teammate, my friend, but I have nothing to say. Hey, I'm not gonna respect this guy anymore, you know. But after the fight, that's the click, you know. Fuck, this guy is not that guy, you know. Like, he actually like, hey, congratulations, you were the better guy here. And the next day, he gets the phone. He calls the media, hey, come to me. I wanna do an interview. And of course, he's open to get to Globo. Globo is the biggest media in Brazil. He called them, they gonna go, you know. He's like the famous guy. Yeah. Everyone wanna kiss his ass. Even the reporters and everyone.
His beef isn't with you. It's with the judges. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think what he went about it by kind of trying to put down Marlon in the process and put down what he did. And, you know, yeah, dude, I've been in a lot of fights. I mean, you've been in fights where you probably won and didn't go your way, but some of those fights, they can go either way. It's so tough, and you can't sit there and, you know, berate your opponent because of it. I mean, hey, he did his job, you did your job. The judges seen it that way, and that's the way it's going to go.
Both of your fights with Aldo were close fights. They were
very close.
The first one was very close. The second one, wasn't as close. You know, he backed up a lot in that fight. I call out for it, but again, he landed the better shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was like saying that he call up the media, you know, and he play his game, you know. He's the famous guy in Brazil. Everyone wanna kiss his ass. Everyone want to like be surround that guy. But I'm not that guy, man. Fuck this guy. I don't give a fuck what he did or what he's gonna do. I'm gonna be my own. I'm gonna do my own. And like even like actors, like players, like people. Man, they did not watch the fight. I know these people didn't watch.
Just jumping on the bandwagon.
Who did watch the fight, they say the truth. Hey, was a close fight, you know.
I watched the fight.
Could go either way, but I think Marlon landed better shots. But a lot of people said that. But people didn't watch. They just know him. Oh, Jose Aldo, he's saying that.
Robbed.
Okay, he got robbed. Oh, yeah, you lost.
Well, yeah, he does have a huge name. A lot of people sort of ride the hype train a little bit, especially people that aren't diehard MMA fans. They know a big name, and they kind of...
And they just go with it by blind faith, just his namesake.
A lot of people said, hey, after the fight, you were surprised with the result. I said, I wasn't. I knew it was a close fight, but...
You were excited, man.
Yeah,
you were excited.
But when you go to a decision with a guy like that, dude, you're like, man,
you never know.
This judge is going to rob me, you know?
Yeah, so you
and
don't
they
know
gave to me. I was, man, they gave to me.
It's a big fight, man. You know, especially think about it. You're from Brazil. You're from where he's from. He was a legend. You get to go take him out, whether it's close or not. I mean, that's a big feat for you. You know, I would be excited. I mean, shit. I didn't get to celebrate and do that, but I would have if it went that way.
Yeah, I remember being and getting rides to go to Rio and saying like, man, this guy's training on the side. Everybody takes care of him. Like, he's the big shot. And I was just getting there to like maybe a couple times I drove, and I was on the car with people for 2 hours and a half, and I get there and get one round, like, and I was happy. But people nowadays, Frankie know that we go train, and a lot of people have the opportunity to be in the room with us, and they don't want to be, you know.
They don't take it,
But I did that, you know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, obviously you have history in Brazil. You grew up there. You both have personal experience with them. But doesn't he have a good story? Doesn't he have a very humbling story? Isn't he a poor kid from, you know, the ghettos of Brazil that used
we
to
all
work,
are. Yeah, we all are, you know.
But he probably started out humble, I would assume, at one point. No?
But I gotta be honest with you, Roger. Sometimes I get mad because people, use stories to hide themselves
Well, that's
behind.
what
you
I'm
know?
saying. That's what
Like,
I'm saying. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I grow up poor and Frankie, he grow up wealthy, you know, his family support. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just comparing. But man, we both train and we both got ready for the fight. Doesn't matter. We're gonna compete, and I don't need to keep saying what happened to me back in the days. Now I eat healthy. I have good money and I can drive my car. Forget about that past. You know, I don't need always bring it in. Always saying, oh,
Maybe you don't need to
poor.
say it, or you know, kind of build your story around it. But I would think that humble beginnings do help you become and evolve the person that you are. I would think. You know, I mean, I don't like silver spoon stories. I don't like guys that are born rich and they end up successful. To me, you didn't struggle as hard. So.
Yeah, but you only see who somebody really is. You gotta give them either money or power, and then they're gonna show you who they are. And
Good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
Notoriety.
Yeah. If you're poor and you need someone, you always gonna be the way that person you need. They want you to be, you know. But you only gonna be who you really are when you don't need anybody, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think today in the social media world, you see so much of that, those humble brags. You know, people out there acting like they're humble and they're really patting themselves on the back or trying to point something out that they did great, but by acting humble, and you know that's almost worse.
Yeah.
And then let's go back. You were talking about that he was coming to you like the strategy, you know, the fight.
Right.
And when I was on a fight. And the first round, I knew I won. The second one, I thought I lost. So the third round, something that keep clicking in my mind, that because that was your last fight with him, and I remember like Mark saying like, don't go much to him, you know.
Yeah.
If you go too much, and so I said, man, I gotta make this guy come to me.
Yeah.
And I was always thinking. That helped me, you know?
Yeah,
and
I mean, he came and
he
he was feinting and, you know, kept kind of little head feints, little foot feints, and he just wasn't really throwing. And you were capitalizing by you know, hitting him with the longer punches. I mean, you snapped his head back more often, too.
Yeah, and I felt like his shots that he landed wasn't like a clean shot. Or always landing like on the chest or like a...
Yeah.
Didn't bother much, you know.
Now you were just in Brazil. How was that? Anybody bring that stuff up over there? Because I mean, he's not too far from. Like you said, you're an hour and a half from where he's from. But
I wish I could see his face. You know, like right next to me. You know.
Now you're talking that
we
Jersey.
Ain't scared of anything, bro. Like
no, everyone knows that.
But I wish I could, you know, because the truth always gonna come, you know. And I was in my town, you know, and. I felt like you said, now I'm the new king in the town.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's believe I won.
Right.
And even if I lose, they're going to support me. They're going to be behind me.
Of course, they're your people.
I went to Rio and I talked with a lot of, I had the opportunity to go because my dad, back 2012, he had cancer and he was treated. Thanks God he's better, but he have to go back every 6 months. And it's in Rio. It's closer to the gym that he goes. It's in a neighborhood like Flamengo. So we went to the hospital. I see a lot of people recognize me, and no one said, hey, you lost the fight.
Yeah,
you know?
no one's gonna say anything.
I was gonna say,
people on Twitter might, you know what I mean? That's how it is. And then in your face, they won't. Even fighters, man, they might talk shit on Twitter, but they get in your face because they know you're gonna fucking fight.
There's like three people in the world that actually talk shit to your face. Everybody else is a Twitter tough guy or a social media tough guy.
Now, I mean, with that said, you beat him in the record books, but he gets the fucking title shot. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, you know, I knew.
Is it official? He's definitely getting the title shot?
I think so.
Sure,
looks like.
I've been saying it.
The last I read was Dana said he wants to make that fight happen, but I don't think it's official.
Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about it. In Brazil, a lot of people are saying it's official. In São Paulo, May 9.
Oh, May 9th in São Paulo.
And I said, I knew I wasn't getting the title shot, but man, I said I want to be on that card, and I want to fight one fight before him. You know, I want to be near this guy. You know, I ain't scared of this guy. I want to fight him again, if possible.
You have a name? Anybody you want to fight?
I can say like a name, but they said Petrian or the guy you're supposed to, Sandy Hagen, and I don't know if whatever either one.
Those are great matchups.
And if I win and still don't think I deserve a title shot, give me Aldo again. You know, I'll fight him again. Even coming off of 3 losses, if he fights again for the title and loses, I'm saying like if he's 0-3, I still gonna.
You'll still fight him. You don't need to fight him. If he's 0-3, don't fight him.
Yeah, but
you got the win over him.
I want to fight him again.
I know. It's a little personal now. Now it's a little personal. But now, would you do anything different if you guys fought?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want to say it because if you get a chance, you can.
No, why not? You know, we watch each other fights all the time. The fighters, I think it's bullshit when you say, "Oh, I don't want you to know that. I don't want you to that." But I think I will use more my wrestling.
Yeah, well, I mean,
definitely.
I've been saying it for years.
I think the wrestling
I've been saying it for years.
will open up more stuff. You know, I couldn't believe and how weak I felt him. You know, like wrestling.
Yeah.
Just like, let's be honest. You know, just I think I hold back a little bit. Like I went one time.
I agree.
Like you always tell me, you're never gonna get in the first time. So in the 3rd round, I try. And I didn't get it, but I should go again. Yeah, you always. If I didn't get it, I should go again. You know, like. I
mean, I've been telling you for years. He does not come from wrestling background, but his shot is one of the fastest steps I've ever went against fighting or just sparring with. And his level changes, his speed, his acceleration, his takedown defense, second to none. So I think you should wrestle a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. I think the wrestling is gonna open up a little bit more.
You don't get to showcase it much because you're such a savage on the feet, bro. You're
Yeah, but I gotta focus more on this now. You know, I know the game has
evolving,
developed so much. Everyone is good everywhere, and you think you are better than someone in some area, but you can impose because you're not open up. You know, I think if you can use more wrestling or just give that guy the threat, you know. I think
make him think.
Make it easier.
He does have really good takedown defense though, right, Aldo? I mean,
he does. He's a pretty good takedown defense.
He's Chad Mendez, you know. I mean, he's going against him.
Mendez took him down, I think once or twice. You know,
I think that's the main reason because I was training well wrestling. I was doing good. I think the main reason was this, you know, the fact that I was like, damn, was hard for Mendez, was hard for Frankie, you know. But fighting is that, like Frankie always say, it's not what happened or what you think gonna happen. It's the second, the moment. That moment you could do, you know, and you're never gonna know if you don't try.
Correct,
right. Sometimes you have to make it happen, and sometimes in the moment it will happen. You just gotta put if you don't attempt it, it can't happen.
Yeah.
So here's a question that I don't even know how to answer. I'm not even sure you can answer it, but as a fan of fighting, you're going to 135. You're ranked, 130. Where are you in the rankings?
One.
Okay. Cody is like 9.
He's up there, yeah.
Cody's in top 10.
Yeah.
Where would you get ranked if you went to 135?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't be ranked right now. I don't even know, man. I don't worry about that stuff.
But he's definitely on the top.
I was going to say, I would think top 10, but you got 3 guys that are all friends in the top 10. What if they put you guys up against each other?
Frankie's my friend.
I'll never. I've actually said this in several interviews. I won't fight Marlon. There's no reason for me to fight him.
Yeah.
I've done a lot in my career. I could avoid fighting Marlon, and title wouldn't get in the way of that. Nothing would. I just feel like we shared too many fucking training sessions and
if you didn't
family
see,
bonds.
you miss it.
I like that. Same goes for you, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. I like I said before, when I first came here to New Jersey, one of my goals was get Frankie to become a champion, and we work hard on that. And I'm still on the process, If Frankie ever needs me, if he gets a title fight, and hey Marlon, listen, I need you. Come here, stay here. I'll come here and support him and train with him every day.
Like sleep right on his couch. He can sleep right on his couch.
Yeah, I sleep so many couches in my life. This couch is way more comfortable than the couches I've been in the past.
So your fight career started in Brazil, and then you came to Florida, right? American Top Team.
Let's give a little background. Like you started in Muay Thai, right? That's you started out first.
Actually, I didn't start Muay Thai. I never tell people that, but I start Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
It's funny, right?
Hey, fucking Zabit, that's Kung Fu, bro.
Yeah, that's Kung Fu.
Wushu Sanda, right?
Man, I was young, like 7, 8, And I had some friends near my house, and they kept telling me, man, there's this thing, Kung Fu, that's cool. The guy walks in the walls. And I was like, man, he walks in the
Wait,
walls.
walks through walls.
Walks, no, in the walls, like walk.
What do you? Oh, on the wall.
On
Walks
the wall.
on the
He
wall.
walks on the wall.
Like a Spider-Man.
This guy's name is Klebby. We call him Master Klebinho. Little Kleb. And they say, oh, he walks on the walls. And I was like, man, there's no way this is possible.
Sure, that guy's not possessed.
But I always like to hang out with the guys in my neighborhood. Everybody sits on the corner. People lay cool down, talk. And I was like 8, and they were all like 14, 15. And I like to hang out with the older guys. They were there talking.
Oh, you're in the right place then.
Yeah, they were there talking shit, all late doing kind of some stuff we don't need to say. and I used to like to be around these guys. And when I start to do Kung Fu, they crack and jokes on me, because I have to wear the clothes, the kimono.
A kimono.
It's like a black kimono with the blue stripes right here. And I said, man, I can't keep doing that. And this is how I stopped to do Kung Fu and I started to do kickboxing.
Yeah. Now,
But Kung Fu was fun. I
fun.
learned like how to punch, kicks,
you
little
think
flexibility.
You could transfer to MMA the stuff you learned? No.
It was just like athletic
More fun
ability
stuff,
and like self-defense, but
Well,
not for a fight.
Bruce Lee is the one that made Kung Fu famous, right?
No, he didn't do Kung Fu. He did Jeet Kune Do.
How many people knew that?
Lots of people.
Really?
I'm sure.
I feel
Right?
like
Didn't
you
you? You find them.
I didn't.
All right.
I thought it was Kung Fu.
I always thought it was Kung Fu.
No,
man.
he
I
made
always
Jeet
thought-
Kune Do. Actually, he was the first mixed. He might have been one of the first mixed martial arts. He used to train boxing. He used to just study Muhammad Ali.
Never even heard. It sounds like you just ordered a Chinese meal.
I mean, it may be a Chinese meal as well. The Jeet Kune Do special.
That's funny.
So, but all right,
So
now you when you started Muay Thai, would you start training with Anderson? Anderson is his Muay Thai coach, and he coached me for several years when Marlon was up here as well.
So I was doing Kung Fu, and then they start crack jokes, and I stopped. And I was just doing my soccer, and I met this girl, and I liked her. And she was doing kickboxing at Anderson's.
Oh wow!
And she said, hey, I'm doing this. And I said, yes, I want to do
yeah.
And then I started to do kickboxing. And man, she started beating me up kickboxing
The
all the
chick?
time. Yeah, because she was a little older. She was 11, and 11 to 9 is like a big difference.
Yeah.
And she was kicking my ass, and I used to cry every day. And one day, she stopped to do, and I said, man, I want to still do this. I like it. And I kept doing. I compete when I was 10, and she got back, and I kicked her ass. And then she didn't want to do anymore. And that's how it started, And I started to do kickboxing. And one of my friends that sit on a corner, he was the jiu-jitsu guy, Marcelo. You met him too.
Yeah.
He gave me a membership for free, and I started to do jiu-jitsu.
So you started
I started like 13.
Oh wow!
And he said, man, let's do jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is good for you. You can do MMA. If you just do kickboxing, you're gonna be like jacket, but you're not gonna be a real fighter. And back there, that's a big rivalry, kickboxing and jiu-jitsu in Brazil. So that's how I started. I was doing for fun, competing in both sports. And I kept doing till I get to 17, and I'm living with my parents, and they say, man, what you fucking gonna do, and I have to make a decision. And I stopped a little bit compete, and I stopped to do jiu-jitsu, and I was just training kickboxing. I got a job. I was working in a manufactory, and from 7 to 5, and going to school at night. It was hard to find times. But I kept training, and I compete, and I lost a fight in kickboxing. That was my first defeat. And I said, man, I'm going to get done with college, and I'm just going to train. I want to just train. And I got done, and I was just training, and I got back to jiu-jitsu. I got a couple MMA fights, and Edson was here, and he said, man, I have a job for you in the school that I'm training. I'm not teaching anymore. I'm just fighting. And he got me here. I went to Palm Beach, Palm Beach Gardens. And the team was the Armory. And I started training there with the guys, fight, compete. And we lived there for like 4 years, maybe 3. And Frankie got a fight with Ben Henderson, and Edson came to help him out sparring, and I came too.
Edson Barboza.
Yeah, after, and I was training, and I think Frankie fought Ben Henderson at the next camp. He was training for the first time. He was fighting Aldo.
Yeah.
But he got hurt.
Aldo got hurt. Yeah.
Aldo got hurt.
Yeah.
But I was here,
It was
so
a motorcycle accident?
Yeah.
The foot.
I was here training, helping Frank. But I met Ali in the gym, and Ali said, "Man, I think I can get you a fight." And I said, "Nah, you're joking," because it was hard to get fights. I was like, I don't believe I can get fights anymore, and my record wasn't that good. So I was like,
Wait, did you just say your haircut wasn't that good?
No,
my
It looks
record,
fucking
my
great,
record.
man.
No,
Record.
I don't have a hair.
Spot on, pal.
So my record was like, I think 8-4. So it was hard to get a fight because I was a tough fighter, but nobody on a small show wants to fight me. But I could not get to the UFC. So Ali got me in the World Series of Fighting. I had a run there.
That's where
Your first fight was Miguel Torres?
Miguel Torres.
Miguel
And
Torres at that time too.
He was a killer back then.
but WC
Killer.
champ.
And I leave it like
Won that by decision, correct?
yeah, I was here in the World Series for 5 years, I think, and then I won the belt, and then I went to the UFC, and I'm in the UFC 2 years.
Now, when you came here, you said you're 8-4. What do you think was the biggest thing when you came here to realize your potential? Because obviously you've always had this potential.
I think the biggest thing was be around real champions. You know, like not just fighters, but coach too, like Mark Henry. Guys like that gives you like a mentality and confidence that a young guy that have the talent, but maybe need a little more confidence, you know.
How old were you when you got that World Series of Fighting Miguel Torres fight?
I think I was 25.
25?
25, 26. 25, yeah. Was a good time at good age.
Yep.
Sometimes the young guys, they want to get to the UFC, but they're not ready, you know. So I was lucky enough, you know, like God gave me the perfect path that I got there and I was ready. I got to the UFC, I was ready. I was at the level, because I would say like 80% of the guys, they get to the UFC and they go 0-2 and they
Yeah.
they get
I wonder
dropped,
what is the average
I would love to know
length
what
of a UFC career. I wonder, like, you know, you get all the guys that ever fought. You know, there's how many people did 1 and done or 2 and done, and then how many people had, you know,
It's
careers.
probably
It's probably not much.
Yeah.
Just like they say, like the average career in the NFL is like 2 years or something.
Especially in the early days, because you didn't need much credentials. I think in the early days. Now you need to have a pretty good record.
like
to
I
even get
always
fighting.
talk with Mark, like Frankie, how long are you in the top 5?
I mean, since 2008, I think.
It's over 10 years. Who could do that? You know, like it's crazy for the time. And this sport, it ain't easy, and
No, yeah.
it's hard to stay.
And especially, you know, well, I got in, I mean, even yourself, I mean, it's still a new sport. When I got in 2005, it was still so new. You know, people gotten so much better from then to now.
You
So-
survive because most of the guys back there, they were doing like everything wrong, and
Yeah.
they were like, bro, I believe back in the days was even worse, like 0-2 and leave, 0-2
Yeah,
and leave.
oh, yeah.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's more opportunities too. Like back in the day, they had a pay-per-view once a month, you know, in UFC. I mean, now there's 40, 50 events a year or something like that. I think 45 events a year.
Yeah,
They probably had like 13
every
back in
I
the
think
day.
a lot of guys can get by today on just fighting, whereas maybe 5-10 years ago, almost everybody had a job, right? Was fighting
Yeah, I
too.
don't know. I mean, I did. I had a job until my third fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I was just talking with some friend about that. I said, why you don't work, you know? Like, work it, you know? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't need it. I said, man, but that's extra money. I love to make
fighter.
extra
He's a fighter,
money,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, well, I know Marlon will attest to this because, you know, we've been in this game for so long and been around so many people. There's so many people that say they want to be a fighter. Because they don't want to get a real job. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, they
I think
graduate either,
Sounds
you know,
good.
they graduate college and they're done wrestling, or they're, you know, guy get out of high school and they're like, yeah, I'm fighting. You fight, you make $500 a fight every you know,
Right.
couple of months. How you paying bills,
Well,
dude?
It sounds.
It's
good
like
to-
okay to be poor. It's like, no, it's not. Like me, I fucking had bills, man.
Right.
You know, I was in the UFC, 3 fights in the UFC, still getting up at 5 in the morning to get to work.
Sounds good to say, though, right? That's a great pickup line for girls and stuff, is I'm a fighter, but at some point, bills come due, right? Like, you gotta pay your bills at some point.
Like when I was 18, you know, I was like, I have to work. My dad said he gotta work, and he was right.
Mm-hmm.
That time that I work it, make me appreciate way more the job that I have today, you know, like the way we put the hours, and sometimes I'm like, we've been together like forever, and like one day you're tired and you're like, man, I work it 3 hours today. And back in the days I was working from 7 to 5 every single day, and you have to get bus.
In the
I
weather.
didn't have a car, and I was saving the bus money.
Did your parents want you to take like the safe route and get a job, Marlon, and go to school, whatever, and kind of roll their eyes at the fighting thing? Which I think, the percentage of getting in is very, very small.
My dad and my mom, like, they were poor. My dad was a former soccer player, but the soccer players in Brazil, maybe 2% of the soccer players make money. He never make anything, and I didn't understand him. When I was trying to be a soccer player, I didn't understand why he could support me more, but I didn't understand why, But as the years go, I knew what he was getting me.
So he probably got it because he was chasing his passion. You were chasing your passion.
He knew he was a good one, and he never made it. So why put the same effort, He didn't want to make me upset, Right. But when I got into a fight, he's like, man, this is not the way. You never make it. My dad never believed I was gonna make.
Really?
My mother was the one like pay for the gym for me. It was hard for her, like cleaning houses, like doing like all crazy jobs to support for me. My dad never support me. He always say, I never believe you were gonna make. But
it's got to be a good feeling.
But
after
I came to United States, like my dad's like, man, is it a career? Is it a job? Like, and I start to make. He supported me, but I got him. I understand him.
Right.
I have kids now. Frankie have kids. So even me and Frankie, we were successful in our careers. Frankie made money on fighting. I made money. I made a living in fighting. But I want my kids to do that. I don't want my kids to do that, if you ask me. But if he wants to, if he's a good one, okay, let's go. I will always support.
Right.
But it's tough. Right. It's not easy, You really gotta want.
The outside people see you in the cage with your hand up, celebrating, have a belt. They don't see all the bad, your injuries we talked about before, and the shit you deal with, and just the traveling, and there's a lot to it that people don't see. Yeah,
but man, I couldn't dream better, because fighting takes you to places that
I was saying this.
You can't even believe,
Think about the places we've been to.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, would you ever imagine?
Man,
I would never imagine.
I'm in New Jersey right now, in the United States of America.
Right.
You're in the cat room, brother.
If you can even find my town in the map right now if I ask you to, and I'll give you like 5 minutes.
Small little town. I grew up in a pretty small town too.
It's small, but you can find because it's in Brazil and Rio on the mountains, But if you believe yourself, if you do something, man. I wasn't the best one when I start, and like I was telling someone the other day, I said, when I start to do, I was like the worst one, and then in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I was maybe the 4th and the 5th, but everyone start to give up. They all start to stop, and they couldn't handle. And I was the only one left, so I was the best one, and I kept getting better. I think our sport, of course, you survive with talent, with heart, with some guys they're very smart, but the biggest thing it's you can't give up, you have to be persistent.
Perseverance.
You have to stay on and believe you can do, If you believe you can do and you drill every day, me and Frankie, like grappling, you see guys that like, man, I train with this guy. This guy is like, he couldn't even walk, and you see this guy doing grappling and like, man, how can this guy be so good? He's like unathletic, like, man, how can this guy be doing all those? Because he drill. He did every day. He believed. He did it.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, sports, you know, mixed martial arts. It shows that work. Putting the work in gets results. I mean, it's proven every time.
In anything.
Well, in anything, correct. But I think you could see it almost. You could see it right in front of your eyes in mixed martial arts. I mean, I'm sure you guys could see it in everything. You know, I mean, if you're a bow hunter, and the more you take reps, the better you're going to get at it. But yeah, I mean, you could see changes quickly. I think in MMA, you know, if you're a little athletic too, and more driven.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
Helps. Definitely helps. But talking about ball hunting, I thought about Cody.
Yeah.
yeah. He was just cracking a joke on Jones today. You
He
see
was.
that?
I did see that. Man. I did see.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was
come
funny.
on, Core.
Cody?
No, Corey.
Cody Anderson.
Yeah.
He's
come on, Cody Anderson.
yeah.
I just
25-8.
He's the one with the bow hunting.
Yeah, I know.
He's the one.
I'd like to catch. I just don't hunt in Jersey. I would love to catch a hunt with Corey though.
Yeah, I think
grew
we
up
should
on
do
that.
that.
Yeah,
He's
I'd
got a
love to.
YouTube channel actually, a hunting YouTube channel.
Does
We
he?
should get the champ and the tramp out there.
Mark Motopimp that used
You
to.
got 2 followers, me and you.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I love Cody. Cody's a good guy.
We
man.
only got
He's
4
one of the
followers
hardest
over
work guy I ever seen in my life.
He really is.
Yeah,
He
you were
really
saying.
is.
You were saying that,
And like I know him, and I met him at the show, and I always see how hard he works.
Mm-hmm.
And man, after I hear he never told me his story because I never asked. And after I hear him on Joe Rogan, I was like, man, I can't believe.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
That's perseverance. If
question.
you ever heard it,
No
know?
question.
So now you know you've been here you were in Jersey for 7 years, and now you just went back down to Florida, and you're training ATT. What are the biggest differences from like a gym like ATT and maybe a little bit like ATT? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty much everything's right there. You don't have to go anywhere else, right?
Yeah,
you have
you
all
don't
your coaches, your jiu-jitsu, your wrestling, your strength, everything there. As opposed to we travel out here in Jersey.
I think the biggest difference is this, I just don't have everything in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
But like I always told you guys, sometimes get bored, and it's fun, the travel, you go somewhere different, you see different,
Right.
even a different atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta get acclimatization.
Acclimated.
Little
Acclimated.
acclimatization. Little acclimatization. I learned from the Russians this
Yeah.
word. I never heard before.
Acclimatization.
Acclimatization.
I thought you were saying acclimated, but all right. So my first introduction to you ever, obviously personally, I met you at a bunch of the kids' barbecues and stuff like that, birthday parties. But you did a video for what was it MTV you were filming for, and you picked Marlon up going to training camp. I think it was when you I forget what it's called, my True Life or something like that.
No, MTV True Life.
Was it True Life? It was when
Maybe it was Eddie. Eddie looks like me.
No,
we picked up Marlon on a ride to training, and it was on the show.
Yeah,
maybe it was one of the UFC countdowns.
Oh, it was a countdown. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, UFC countdown.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Frankie picked me up
remember
forever.
Remember?
In the beginning when I got here, he was always picking me up.
Because they didn't have cars or anything here. Yeah,
and then me and Edson, we used to go in the back seats, and we're like, man, what's this guy talking? Chris Ligori, because he talks so fast, and him and Frankie like talking the whole way, and I was like, man, what's he saying? Can you get it? And I was like,
they just smiled and nodded.
Yeah. The secret is everything they say to you, just shake your head, positive.
A lot of cursing. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
you get.
but like we were talking about the training, but man, this world we live is just excuses. People will always make excuses to change something, but I got no excuses.
Yeah.
I've been here and it was amazing, and I couldn't dream a better place to be, and I'm there. I can complain too,
Right.
But people always like to excuse. Oh no, because that coach have that mentality. He gave me this, but man, when you fight, it's yourself. You can blame anyone.
No, I never once blamed a coach. You can't.
Coaches,
I mean, come on.
We are there.
We're the ones in there.
Yeah, and even if the coach say, "Hey, throw a right hand," and man, you see the danger, don't fucking throw, don't throw now,
Right.
But just because he said you're gonna do,
Yeah.
How much can you hear when you're in there? I heard you say a couple times I could hear Mark.
Yeah, with Mark, it's almost everything. You
can
know,
hear?
he likes to fight with us.
Yeah, Mark.
He does something unique.
He's got the remote control.
Yeah.
Mark, at least we listen to him. Not everyone does.
Yeah,
But when you're in a fight, I would assume you kind of got
it's tough
tunnel
sometimes.
vision.
Yeah,
And you're,
it's tough. Well, it depends, how the crowd is, and usually the main events. We've been fighting main events quite a bit, and that usually is a little bit more rowdy because the crowd is, and there's at times where you can't hear them, so you have to make up your own decision. But I can zero in pretty good on them.
well, speaking about that, let's talk about language barrier. How quickly did you pick up English coming here from Brazil so that you could train with the Jersey guys and the American teams? And was that, you were saying with Chris Ligori, who talks fast, couldn't understand him. Was the language barrier, did that hold you back a little bit at first until you picked it up, or no?
Man, was hard.
Yeah.
And when I was in Florida one time was funny because I used to live with all these guys in the house, and these guys because for me, I just got here in United States, and guys is smoking weed all the time, and man, this is dangerous, because yeah, I'm serious. In Brazil, man, you can go to the jail, and I was I wasn't into
is
that.
that true?
Much.
I thought it was a little more free.
No, it's not that free.
Oh, really? No
yeah.
shit. Okay. All right.
And I was in the house, and the cops knocked the door, but I have no English. I was like, man, how am I gonna answer this door? And they kept knocking, and the smoke everywhere. And I was like, man, fuck. And the guys, hey, Marlon, you go. I said, why me? You just got here. You gotta go. You here less than me and him, and they were smoking. They didn't want to see the cops. And I was so scared, man. I was like, oh my God. And the guy knocked the door. I opened the door, and the guy blah, 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 started to say a lot of things. Blah, blah, blah. Marlon Moraes. I said, man, I'm going to the jail. And I dropped my head, and I couldn't even see. He lifted my wallet, and you lost your wallet at the grocery store.
Oh wow!
I lost. Wow. And man, it's amazing because in Brazil, I will never get the wallet back.
Shit.
And probably I could get in trouble because the smoke, but they didn't even care.
Nah, yeah.
But my language barrier, I was and what helped me a lot was when I got there in Jupiter, in Florida, I was teaching the kids. So I was never a shy guy, right. I kept trying with the kids, talk, and if they don't understand me, whatever I was saying, I keep catching myself talking Portuguese to the young ones, and they wouldn't even know what I was saying. And I start to pick up words, and
I thought you came up, and I thought your English was better than Edson's already, and he was here a lot longer, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was a little shy, he's more shy than I. So I always, man, I get nervous if I can't talk, I can't be quiet. People always don't talk too much,
I remember the one story when you were living in the basement. Everybody lived in my father-in-law's basement, including myself.
Yeah, I lived there a year and a half.
Yeah, Chris Ligori lived there. Corey lived there. Everybody lived in my father-in-law's house. So it's kind of like, I was the first one to live there for a year, me and my wife, when we first came from college. And now it's pretty much open to fighters that come and visit, and they live there. And Marlon was there, and I think someone left the front door wide open of the house. Someone left the front door wide open, right? They call the cops. Cops come in.
Wait, who calls the cops?
Somebody. They must have been driving by.
A
neighbor driving by because the door was left wide open. Cops come, check it out. I guess someone used to live there that was that maybe has a little bit of a suspicious record, So they ran it. They realized that this person lives there, or they used to live there a long time ago.
They're coming at gunpoint.
So they come in, and I'll let Marlon take over.
Yeah, but the basement was dark. Even daytime was dark, and I was on my room, me, my wife, and my son Rafael. He was a baby, and I was eating. I don't know if it was
like an apple.
I think mango or apple, but I have a knife in my hand, and I was cutting the fruit and eating, and I heard this noise, and it was dark, and I do, and he didn't say names or nothing. He was just saying something. And I come out of my room with the knife in my hand, like no shirt, like maybe, I'm not lying. Probably I have the underwear on. And I go outside and I see two guys pointing the gun. And my first reaction was like, man, I don't know what it, I thought it was like, I don't know, maybe someone trying to rob the house, but because they have the lights on the gun, because it was dark.
Yeah.
But the lights came right in my face. When I see that, I lift my hands up. And I said, no, sorry. And the guy is like, hey, Get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. I was like, come, how am I, get on the ground, get on the ground. And I said, man, I live here, and get on the ground. And I went on the ground, and he checked me, and he took the knife, and I got my ID, I gave to him, and he said, oh, I'm sorry, that was a call, someone called here, the cops, and they said the upstairs door was wide open.
They go down, they see this fucking shredded
It
ass
was
dude with a
dark.
fucking knife in his underwear. Like, what the fuck?
And they have the guns, both have the handgun, and I was like, oh my god. And my wife is in the room, and she don't even know what's happening.
They took one look at you
But
and they're like,
listen-
we're not going hands on with this
Listen,
guy.
if Corey was living there,
And Corey,
it might have ended differently.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah,
That is true.
could be a problem.
Have his bow in his hand or something.
Yeah.
That was very scary. I was scared.
Yeah, that was a
And
wild
end up, I
story.
got my ID. I showed him my ID, and they
Very
left.
good.
They left, and they left me. I pissed in my pants. Probably.
Oh man. So what's next? What do you think's next? When do you want to get back in there? You said you want to get on that May
I'm
card.
trying May.
Mhm.
Hopefully May. And I'm dealing with a couple injuries. I told you,
Right.
like my
Hello.
foot, my shoulder, but we will heal. We will
Yeah.
heal. I hopefully get in a physical therapy in a couple weeks and get back training and probably get a fight until May.
Now, are you working with Phil Daru down there?
Sometimes,
yeah.
yeah, with other guys, because
Mhm.
that's many guys.
They
And
got a
when I
bunch of teams. Yeah.
I start with the other guy. You
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
I love Phil too, but I just didn't.
Yeah,
want
no,
to
yeah,
change,
I mean, yeah, I hear you. Yep. And now, how about now? Your son, he wrestled with us here at Elite in
Yeah.
Jersey, and I seen he was in Mako's room.
He went one day already. I took him. He likes wrestling, you know.
Yeah,
He like he was here. He pays attention.
he does, man.
I just
tell you.
I gotta get him more athletic. But youngest one is, I think he's gonna be athletic.
Yeah,
he already is. You know, he very like
High
he's
energy.
unstoppable.
Yeah,
Doesn't stop.
I feel like the second one is always that
He
way.
doesn't
at
sleep
least.
well at night.
It's-
He eats. Rafael never eat much. He eats like a maniac.
Yeah.
He eats everything, anything.
That's good.
Even
That's good.
even the couch today. Yeah, crazy. My dog. He bites my dog.
Kita,
Crazy. Yeah. Kira's like.
how's she doing?
She's like old.
Old,
man,
right?
Old man. Like Tim Moody used to say, she's old man, brother. Old man. Yeah, she's 15 years old.
That's a good run, man, for a dog. Yeah,
For a beagle,
Yeah.
she's almost like Jill, like Jerry's.
yeah,
Jerry's
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I had a blast talking with you, Marlon. You know, we always love it when you come to Jersey, and
Love to see
we miss you. We miss you here. We miss just hanging out, and obviously miss you
Yeah.
in the gym too.
Next
But
time I come here, I'm gonna come hanging out with you guys
Yeah,
again.
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Roger's a little
Come
quiet
back,
today.
I'm a little, well, I mean,
You're shy?
You guys were broing out there, so I don't want to.
I haven't seen him in a while, man. You know,
Yeah,
so
we
I
kept talking.
I want to give you your space. You
Yeah.
know?
No. Thank you so much. You know, always good to be here.
tell us where can everybody reach you at? What's your social media channels?
Marlon Moraes, and on Instagram and everything.
Cool. Well, Champ and the Tramp, thanks for listening in. And Monday, 3 p.m., we always drop, so be on the lookout for us. Thanks, brother.
Another
Thank
one
you.
in the
Thank
books.
you. Thank you, man.
Boom, money.